Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learn English podcast.
Daily life in Japan. Learn English through story. Daily life in Japan is something truly unique and fascinating. And if you are a young learner who wants to improve your English while also learning about another culture, then let me take you on a long, detailed journey through the ordinary yet extraordinary routines, traditions, and moments that shape the daily rhythm of people in Japan. And imagine this as a story that follows not just one person, but the atmosphere of the entire country, where modern technology blends with ancient tradition, where the streets are busy yet orderly, and where every detail of life feels both disciplined and beautiful. Because when the morning sun rises over the city of Tokyo, the largest city in the world, millions of people begin their day almost at the same time. Trains roar into stations, school children in their uniforms walk in groups, businessmen and women known as salarymen hurry with their briefcases, and the smell of fresh bread from convenience stores mixes with the aroma of traditional rice breakfasts in homes. And if you look at a Japanese home in the early morning, you will often see a family sitting together, the father perhaps reading the newspaper or checking his phone for work messages, the mother preparing rice, miso soup, grilled fish, and pickles, the children quietly eating before rushing off to school. And there is a sense of discipline, a sense that even breakfast is part of a larger rhythm of life. And when the children leave, they often say, "Itekimasu," which means, "I am going," and the parents reply, "Iterashai," which means, "Please go and come back safely." And this exchange shows the politeness and care that is deeply rooted in Japanese daily life. And now, imagine the children walking to the train station, because in Japan, many students use trains every day, and the trains arrive on time to the exact minute. So students learn responsibility and punctuality from a very young age. And when they arrive at school, they change into indoor shoes, line up in an orderly fashion, bow to their teachers, and start their lessons. And in the classroom, you will not only find math, science, and literature, but also moral education, cleaning time, where students clean their own classrooms, and even club activities after school, which teach teamwork and discipline. And outside the school, the adults are also deeply engaged in their routines. The salaryman squeezing into a crowded train, bowing slightly as he enters his office, working long hours with dedication, often staying late into the evening. While office ladies and workers in shops and restaurants also play their roles. And every corner of Japanese daily life seems to run on quiet cooperation, discipline, and respect for others. And if you step out into the streets of Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto, you will see convenience stores everywhere, open 24 hours, selling not only food and drinks, but also magazines, cosmetics, tickets, and services that make life easier. And the convenience store clerk will always greet you with a polite "Irashaimase," welcoming you even if you don't reply. And this politeness extends everywhere, from the taxi driver who wears white gloves to the cashier at the supermarket who carefully places your change on a tray instead of directly in your hand. And if you think about daily meals, many Japanese families combine tradition and modernity, sometimes having rice and miso soup at home, sometimes grabbing a bento box from a store, sometimes stopping at a ramen shop or sushi conveyor belt restaurant. And each meal is treated with care, with the simple phrase "itadakimasu" before eating, which means "I humbly receive this food," showing gratitude, and "gochiso-sama" after eating, thanking for the meal. And this gratitude for small things is what makes daily life in Japan feel balanced and harmonious. And yet life is not only about work and food, because leisure also plays a big role. And after school, children often go to juku, which are cram schools to study even more, while adults may stop at an izakaya, a casual Japanese pub, to eat, drink, and relax with colleagues after long working hours. And on weekends, families might visit parks, temples, or shopping malls. Young people may spend hours in karaoke rooms singing with friends, or in manga cafes reading comics, or even in arcades playing games, because entertainment in Japan is everywhere. And the daily life rhythm always balances between hard work and small joys. And if you wake up very early, maybe in a rural area outside the big cities, you will see a different picture of daily life, where farmers wake up at sunrise to tend to rice fields, fishermen head out to sea, elderly people practice radio taiso, which is a morning exercise routine broadcast on the radio, and neighbors greet each other with bows. And this shows another side of Japan, a slower and more traditional pace that still exists outside the giant cities. And what makes Japanese daily life so special is how tradition and technology live side by side. Because in one moment, you can see a Shinto shrine standing quietly between tall modern buildings, or a businessman stopping to pray at a temple before rushing into a skyscraper. And even though Japan is full of robots, high-speed trains, and futuristic gadgets, the values of politeness, respect, and community remain strong. And this is why young learners like you can not only learn English by listening to this story, but also learn about a culture that values balance, discipline, and respect. And imagine yourself living one day in Japan, waking up to the sound of trains outside, greeting your family with polite words, going to school or work with millions of others, enjoying sushi for lunch, practicing karate or tea ceremony in the evening, and bowing as you say goodnight. And through this rhythm of daily life, you see how ordinary actions become extraordinary when done with care, respect, and gratitude. And this is the magic of Japan, where the simplest daily life is filled with lessons for anyone who observes carefully.
And as the adults finish their workday, the scene changes again. Because many workers do not go home directly. They stop at izakayas with colleagues, drinking beer or sake, eating skewered meat called yakitori, sharing small plates of food, and laughing together. Because even though Japanese people are serious at work, they also know the importance of bonding after hours. And these gatherings are part of the social glue that holds workplaces together. And meanwhile, families at home are preparing dinner, which may include rice, soup, grilled fish, or perhaps curry rice, a favorite dish. And as they sit together, they share stories of the day, showing that despite busy lives, family connection remains important. And after dinner, some people may watch TV, catch up on the latest dramas, or read manga, while others relax in a hot bath, because bathing is not only for cleanliness, but also for relaxation. And many Japanese homes have bathtubs designed for soaking after the body is washed. And this simple daily habit reflects the cultural importance of rest and renewal. And while some people stay home, others enjoy nightlife in districts full of neon lights, karaoke bars, game arcades, or shopping centers that stay open late. And this contrast between the peaceful home and the vibrant city streets is another part of Japan's daily rhythm, showing the variety of lifestyles that coexist. And if you step outside late at night, you will still see trains running, convenience stores glowing, and people moving, because Japanese cities rarely sleep completely. But at the same time, the order and cleanliness remain. And as midnight passes, the city slowly quiets, preparing for the cycle to begin again the next morning. And in rural towns, the night is even quieter, with the sound of crickets, the sight of rice fields shining under the moon, and families going to bed early, living closer to nature. And this contrast between city and countryside is another part of Japanese daily life that makes it so unique, Because no matter where you are, the balance of tradition, respect, and discipline shapes the way people live. And for a young learner like you, listening to this story is not only a way to practice English, but also a way to understand how another culture lives. And by learning these details, your imagination grows, your vocabulary expands, and your sense of the world becomes bigger. Which is exactly why stories like this are so powerful for learning English, because they connect language with life.
So, as we come to the end of this long journey through daily life in Japan, what do we really see? What lessons can we take? And how can it help you, a young learner, improve your English and also understand the world better? Because when we explore Japanese mornings full of discipline and order, afternoons filled with study and work, evenings rich with food, family, and friendship, and nights alive with neon or peaceful with nature, we were not only describing Japan, we were also practicing the art of noticing, describing, and reflecting, which are key skills in language learning. And if you followed this story carefully, you have heard so many words connected to culture, food, transport, technology, tradition, and emotions. And without realizing it, your vocabulary has expanded, your imagination has stretched, and your listening ability has grown stronger. And that is the true value of learning English through story, because instead of memorizing isolated words or repeating grammar drills, you have walked inside another world. You have seen it through language, and you have allowed the rhythm of English sentences to carry you. And this is how real fluency is built, little by little, story by story, habit by habit. And as you think about Japan, maybe you will also think about your own daily life, asking yourself what habits bring discipline, what small joys bring peace, and how you can balance tradition and modernity in your own way. And if Japan can teach us something, it is that progress and tradition can live side by side, respect can be practiced every day, and small details can create harmony. And these are lessons not only for living, but also for learning. Because to master English, you must also balance discipline with enjoyment, consistency with curiosity, practice with imagination. And just like Japanese people bow to one another every day, you can bow to your own learning by showing respect for the time you give to it. And just like they clean their own spaces, you can clean your mind of doubt and laziness, making room for growth. And just like they value punctuality, you can value regular practice, because every day matters, every sentence matters, every story matters, and every effort adds up. And now, as this story closes, I invite you not to stop here, but to keep listening, keep reading, keep speaking. Because English, like daily life, is not learned in one big moment, but in thousands of small ones, repeated again and again until fluency feels natural. So let this story of Japan be not only a window into another culture, but also a mirror for your own journey, reminding you that with patience, discipline, and joy, you too can reach your goals. You too can create balance in your learning, and you too can build a life where language becomes not just a tool, but a companion, guiding you to more opportunities, more connections, and more understanding of the world.